in chronic toxic stress. And I want everyone to remember that term, toxic stress, because as we've already covered, our brain, our central nervous system, is the receptor for all the stimuli that we receive around us. And so, if that stimuli happens to be a stressor or a stressful stimuli that is repeated over time, it can have significant effects on the developing brain. I wanted to talk about abuse as a way to introduce everyone to parts of the brain. One thing that I'm really passionate about is education. And I know that when I went through school, I didn't learn very much about brain function or brain development. I find it too often that most people don't even know the names of different organs in their body, let alone what they do. And so I would love for this platform to be a place where you can come and learn more about not only the developing brain, but also other parts of the human body and how they all work together in an integrated system. So, when we're exposed to toxic stress, there are certain parts of our body that have to respond because we are innately designed to do so. So, one of the areas of the brain that is highly involved when it comes to our stress response is the hippocampus. The hippocampus is the part of our brain that's responsible for memory, and its job is to store experiences, to store information that will allow us to be equipped to protect ourselves in the face of danger. It also communicates with an area of the brain known as the amygdala, and together they both work to navigate our way through the world, store information, and develop an appropriate response to certain stimuli. So I'd like everybody to think for a moment, what if you have a child that is chronically exposed to a parent who abuses substances, or a child who is chronically exposed to domestic violence, or how about emotional abuse? I would like to take the next few weeks to really explore and expand our knowledge base on certain types of abuse because they do have different effects on the brain. But one circuit that you can be sure all types of abuse can affect in the body is our stress response circuit. And that circuit involves not only structures in the brain, but also structures in other areas of our bodies, like our adrenal glands. So, for those of you who don't know, our adrenal glands are two glands that sit adjacent to our kidneys. And a huge part of their role and function in the body is to respond to stress. They, in concert with the brain, make chemicals like adrenaline. Another chemical in the body that is elevated when we are underneath a lot of stress is cortisol. So, those two substances, adrenaline and cortisol, play a huge role in us learning how to be aware of the environment around us, responding appropriately when in the face of danger. Now, I'm sure you can imagine that if you grow up in a healthy household where there is some stress, but it is not chronic or high levels of stress, you tap into this circuit when necessary. However, when we are raised in environments where the stress is always there, that means that your fight or flight system, your adrenals, your hypothalamus, and your pituitary gland, which both are within the brain, they communicate with each other constantly, and it affects the levels of certain chemicals that are produced in the body. And I'm going to talk in further videos about how these stress hormones, as many people know them to be, affect brain development over time. There are